Okay, so Lisa.
Yeah.
Um,
It was one or two, wasn't it?
yeah. So we had a brief conversation beforehand about your swimming, kind of saying that Kate's much better than you and all this kind of stuff. I think your strake's pretty nice. You've actually got a few similarities in terms of your strokes, so we're going to treat them actually in quite similar ways. What do you think is the main? You mentioned your breathing earlier, didn't you? But apart from that, what do you think is your main thing that's holding you back, if anything?
I think it's.
Sorry.
I think
Don't worry about me.
It doesn't record swear words anyway. We're okay. It's only Kate's. It's not going to go on YouTube, this one. So. Sorry. Go on.
I don't know. I think I maybe drag my legs. I think maybe my legs aren't up high enough due to the fact that I feel like I swim faster with a pool boy.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. I feel like my arms are kind of doing the right thing, but I might see different in a minute.
Okay. All right. Well, let's play it through and see what we find. So we'll go through the same procedure as we did with Lisa.
No.
Kate. Oh, I knew you'd get it wrong at some point. Okay. So what I'm looking for first of all is head position. Now
that's very high.
That's quite high. Yeah. You mentioned your legs. I could see your legs when you're swimming up down. The legs. I'll have a look at that in a minute on the video. They are quite low in the water. This is a definite cause of that. Okay. Because what you're doing. I mean, I'll show you the same thing as what I showed to Kate before. So you've got it recorded on here. Okay, so even though you've already seen it with Kate. So again, ideally looking at a Popeye head position with the drill, with the head. So head staying nice and low. That's the ideal head position. Now, that's easier said than done when there's one or two other things going on here, which we'll have a look at, which is causing you to feel like you've got the need to lift your head. All right. The next thing I'm going to look at, which I can't see from poolside, is whether or not you're holding your breath. Now, this is normally quite a biggie. Okay, if you hold your breath, it does have quite a big impact. I'll wait for you to come back on your head position. I'll explain why in a second. Okay, so you're taking a breath there. There is bubbles coming out.
I only breathe out of my nose.
Okay.
I think I do that to stop water going up my nose. I don't tend to breathe out of my mouth.
There's no right or wrong reason. No right or wrong way to breathe out. If you're more comfortable through the nose, that's absolutely fine. What I suspect is happening here is you're breathing most of it out towards the end here. Look, you can see a big blowout towards the end there. By the time you turn your breath at that point, your lungs should pretty much be empty. Right? If you don't exhale fully during each breath, what happens is you get a bit of a build-up of CO2, and it can make you feel like kind of starts to get a build-up. It's almost kind of slightly anxious kind of feeling. I don't know if you feel that when you swim.
Like that, yeah. I'm sometimes quite desperate to get to the end of the leg.
Yeah, that's normally a surefire sign that you are holding on to your breath. And you need to get to the end to try and get that kind of catch up on the oxygen depth. Yeah. There's something that you could work on as well is the breathing. Once you get comfortable with the drills, it'll become more relaxing, and then you can focus on breathing separately. I think we're going to get more to gain from you, actually kind of trying to straighten you up first of all. So, let's have a closer look. Okay, so to be fair, you've got a steady stream of bubbles coming out there, but I think what I'll do, first of all then, is just to make sure that you're exhaling fully, is we'll do the sink down drill with you, okay, which is do it at the deep end, and all you do is exhale, and if you fully exhale, you've got nothing holding you up in the water. You sink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you can see from these guys, these girls here, obviously quite good at doing it. And this chap over here, look, not so good. And he starts bobbing around a bit, and he's not going down at all. Eventually, so he's letting it dribble out. So it should be a big sign. It should all come out. Some people go breathe out, but they're almost, they're puffing their lips up and they're keeping their lips tight together, and they're not letting it out as freely as it could.
One of the things I was taught when we were having the lessons was they called it trickle breathing.
Yep, yeah, and that's what we're looking for really.
So I'm not doing that.
No, so if you look at these,
I think I am.
it looks like you are at the start, but I suspect you're not. So that's what these are doing. It's all constantly coming out. By the time they're at the bottom, they're empty. What I suspect, like I say with you, is that you're breathing out a little bit. It actually looks like a fair amount, but when you're turning to breathe, there's a big bulk of it. So you might have 50% coming out while you're breathing, and then the 50% is coming out in the last half a second. All right. So I'll have a little look at that. So head position and breathing out. If you hold air in your lungs, of course, what it makes you do is it makes your chest float. Again, as always, if the front end of the body is high, it makes the legs drop, and that's your I hate saying major issue because it sounds like it's terrible, but that's the one thing which is causing you to not go as quick as you'd like, is the position of your body in the water, because Kate, what you had is you had quite low legs, but your bum was on the surface. Lisa, what we've got with you is slightly different in that your bottom is probably 6 inches below the surface as well. So your whole body line is dropping down. Okay. Now, head position, being high, holding the breath, two absolute definite ones, which are going to cause the legs to drop. Yeah, your leg kick's okay. Always have a little look at your leg kicks. Some people do have really quite bad leg kicks or ineffective. You haven't got good flexibility in your ankles. You can have what you call dagger feet, and they're like little anchors.
Yeah.
Whereas your feet are okay. They're okay. You don't need to worry about that too much. So let's just get rid of this. Now what I want to look at is what's happening on the recovery. So we recover over. Similar to Kate, a little bit low. Coming in quite flat. And this is where I say you guys have got similarities, because the arm is sweeping around the side, and that's spearing in a bit better. Kate had a little hovery thing going on, whereas yours is spearing in on that side. Have a look on the recovery side. And you see the far arm there is doing the same thing as Kate. It's coming in quite flat. That's normally to do with rotation, so not rotating enough and giving yourself the height to get the arm in from high, rather than if you don't rotate enough, it comes in quite flat, quite low. If it comes in flat and low, you generally have to push down. Just swimming out of shot, I'll be looking all the way back. So that's the hand that spears in quite nicely when you breathe. Spears in quite nicely, but what happens here is the hand isn't doing much. It's kind of staying there, then the elbow is coming down. And then what we're getting is a push down, wide. And then again, same with Kate, it's not until you get down here that you're actually starting to generate some backwards pressure. And again, a lot of that is because of the way you're setting it up, rather than the actual catch itself. Yeah. So if we look at the rotation here, when I say rotation, what I'm talking about is if you think about your core, so here, we want your body to be rotating to 45 to 60 degrees each time you take a stroke. Okay, and again, that's what gives you the height on the top side to bring the arm over from high. You're a little bit flat here, so there's not much rotation there, which means that the arm is coming in. That's why it's coming in quite flat. And here we go, look. There's the whole arm coming in together, pushing down. Very similar to Kate again. So pushing down at the front, pushing down here, causes the chest to rise, causes the legs to drop. So they're the things combined which are causing it. We can tidy up your catch and your pull through, but that's not too bad. You've got a decent amount of elbow in the arm there, angle in the arm even. When we breathe. Do you get any shoulder problems?
Not that I've noticed, no.
Because when you breathe, what we've got here is a straight arm pull through.
Right.
Although it starts to bend when you get back here. You pull through straight. What you're doing is you're putting pressure on. You're pulling through from here rather than pulling through with your chest and lats.
Get more of a bend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably didn't swim far enough to actually start to ache.
Just playing this through just to see if there's anything else in there you can look at. Yeah. So let's get these legs up, and then we're going to work on. Well, one of the ways we're going to get these legs up is by, similar to Kate, getting you swimming nice and straight. We can get you swimming straighter. We can get you spearing in and getting a more effective catch. Okay? If you get a more effective catch, it will generate more propulsion, and obviously if you pull yourself quicker through the water, then you breathe naturally, the legs will come up. So that combined with getting the head down and not exhaling will also kind of get the legs up further still. Okay, so the progression I'd like to take you through then is to start off with the same as, so it's only the sink downs, we'll do those to start off with, is the kicking on the side. So on the side all the way. I'll rattle through these because you've seen these with Kate. On to 616. So kick on the side again with a stroke. And then on to 636. And then depending on how we get on with that, in order to get you spearing in and into a more effective kind of catch position, and this is again something that you could do, and I'll send you the link through for this, okay, is broken arrow drill. Again, you do need fins for these. You got fins.
I've got some, yeah.
The short ones as well, aren't they? Okay, they're better. They are better. Yeah. Okay. You see, I think it's the same one he's got on actually. I think he's got those on. Yeah. We'll see how you get on with those. So broken arrow drill again. It's kicking on the side, but the idea of this is, I talked about the recovery being quite low over the water. The recovery is in low. I said we push down quite flat. The broken arrow drill. You can see how high we get the arm. And again, it's on the side. But what we're doing is we're then focusing in on spearing in. So we bring it up nice and high, and then we're spearing from height. and then we're back on our side again, back in control.
I don't think they'll do that to control.
Well, these are just things that this is the kind of stuff. The control and being comfortable with it is the stuff that you need to go away and practice, and that's why it's good.
Time and practice.
Yeah, that's why it's good. 6 or 8 weeks, you're like comfortable, and then we can really kind of get stuck in again at the next kind of stage almost, really, I guess. So that's what we're looking at to try and get you recovering further over the water. All right, but we'll concentrate on getting you lined up like we did with Kate first of all. Okay. Just so as while you're both here, just to show you what we're working on, what we're going to be working on is obviously getting you lined up and spearing in. All right. So I just want to kind of show you what's going to be next. So we can spear you in nicely and get you straight in the water. What we then move on to, and this isn't for today, but just so as you've got it on here, are improving the actual catch itself. Now we know we keep on talking about dropping the elbows. You shouldn't drop the elbows ever, right? So skull number 1, with the pull buoy, simply go along, and you get used to having those elbows up high. You want to drill yourself, literally drill yourself, to never letting those elbows drop. You're always up high. And if you think about that, that is mimicking that position when you spear in. That's that point, okay? You're like, I'm not going to ever come out of this position. I'm never going to let my elbows drop. And that's all this is practicing and getting a feel for the water on the hands at the front. So skill number 1. And then I'm sure you've seen this doggy paddle. It's a classic drill. But you extend forward under the water. So it's front crawl, but you recover under the water rather than over. And then when it drops under the water. So there he is. That's the skill number 1. So we've speared into that position. And then we're focusing on getting that elbow up high. And there's this big, nice, strong pull through. Okay. So I'm just demonstrating this to you, I'm not showing it to you, so you can see. Get you straight, get you spearing in, and then we start to work on the catch and pull through. And that's the kind of natural progression of things. Okay? Any questions? You stuck in?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's get this.